Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. Members of the public have been warned to not approach Jamie Cooper from Blackpool, who is 5 feet 7 inches, of a medium build with short, cropped hair. Cooper fled the GOAMI prison van after it pulled over on the M55 to deal with an onboard medical emergency. Cops first received reports of a man making his escape on the M55, near to Junction 2, at 8:54 a.m. this morning. The vehicle was conveying prisoners to Lancaster Magistrates Court and was near Catforth at the time of the incident. Police have since urged anyone with information of the whereabouts of Jamie Cooper to come forward. They have also warned members of the public to not approach him but instead call 999. He was last seen wearing a blue coat, jeans, and black trainers. A spokesperson for GOAMI said, "The detained person involved in this emergency then overpowered and evaded the escort officers and escaped from the vehicle." Lancashire police have been informed and are currently searching for the escaped prisoner. He is believed to have connections to Blackpool and Bolton. The area has seen an increase in officers to help the search and reassure members of the public. A spokesperson for the force said, "We know that this may be concerning to hear about, but we want to reassure you that incidents like these are extremely rare in Lancashire and it is something we are taking incredibly seriously. Searches and an investigation are ongoing, and you will see an increase in our officers in the area as they continue their inquiries. If you have any concerns, please do approach them as they are out and about." Cooper has links to Blackpool and Bolton. If you see Cooper, do not approach him, but call 999 and let us know straight away. If you can assist our inquiries in any way, please get in contact with us on 101 quoting log 0237 of March 19. The city was just beginning to stir when chaos erupted on its streets. Morning commuters, preoccupied with their routines, had no idea that a dangerous fugitive had just made his way into the heart of their urban jungle. It was supposed to be a routine transfer, a simple, unremarkable trip from the courthouse back to the prison. Officers had done this 100 times before. But this time was different. Jason Carter, 33 years old, was no ordinary prisoner. A career criminal with a history of manipulation, deception, and uncanny ability to slip through the cracks of the justice system, he had spent months planning his escape. It was no coincidence that this particular morning, when the prison van pulled onto the highway, everything fell perfectly into place. The escape. The prison van had left the courthouse at 7:45 a.m., heading towards Ridgeview Correctional Facility. Jason had been handcuffed and shackled, seated between 2 escort officers in the back of the vehicle. Everything seemed secure. But Jason had an advantage: time. He had spent the past few weeks studying the patterns of his captors. He knew which guards were cautious and which ones were lax. And most importantly, he had found a weak link in the van's security system. As they drove down a relatively quiet stretch-off highway, Jason made his move. Using a small, sharpened metal pin hidden inside the hem of his jumpsuit, he picked the lock on his cuffs. He moved quickly but carefully, using the motion of the van to mask his movements. Then, in one fluid motion, he sprang into action. His first target was the guard to his left. With a brutal elbow strike to the throat, he sent the man reeling. The second officer had barely registered what was happening before Jason twisted his arm, forcing him against the wall of the van. Using the very shackles meant to restrain him, Jason wrapped them around the officer's neck, cutting off his air supply. By the time the driver realized something was wrong, it was too late. Jason kicked the rear doors of the van open, throwing himself onto the pavement and rolling across the asphalt. The van skidded to a halt, but Jason was already on his feet, dashing toward the dense tree line by the roadside. Within minutes, he was gone. The manhunt begins. The radio crackled in every patrol car across the city. All units, be advised. Fugitive escapee Jason Carter, last seen heading northbound from Highway 17. Suspect is considered dangerous. Proceed with caution. Police sirens wailed through the streets as officers scrambled to establish a perimeter. Helicopters were deployed, their powerful searchlights sweeping over fields, forests, and suburban neighborhoods. Roadblocks were set up at every major intersection. Chief Inspector Daniel Graves stood at the command center, reviewing surveillance footage. "He's smart," Graves muttered. "He won't just run blindly. He has a plan." The city on edge. News of the escape spread like wildfire. Social media exploded with posts and theories. Some speculated that Jason had an accomplice waiting for him. Others feared he would take hostages. For the people of the city, every shadow became a threat, every stranger a potential danger. Schools went into lockdown. Businesses reinforced security. Jason Carter wasn't just a fugitive, he was now a ghost haunting the streets. Jason's next move. Jason knew he had only a few hours before the manhunt closed in. He had studied the city's infrastructure, mapped out escape routes, and memorized the locations of abandoned buildings, sewer tunnels, and train yards. Disguising himself was the first priority. He found an old laundromat, broke in through the back door, and swapped his prison jumpsuit for a set of worn-out work clothes. He grabbed a baseball cap from a donation bin, lowering the brim over his face. Next, he needed transportation. He couldn't steal a car, it would be too obvious. Instead, he walked into a crowded bus terminal, blending in with the early morning commuters. As he sat quietly in the back of the bus, he could hear police sirens blaring in the distance. He smirked. They were looking for a prisoner in a jumpsuit. Not a man in a ball cap and a jacket. The cops close in. But Jason had underestimated his hunters. Chief Inspector Graves had been in law enforcement for over 2 decades. He knew fugitives. And he knew Jason wouldn't make obvious moves. "He's blending in," Graves told his team. "He's moving through the city like a ghost. We need to think like him." Analyzing surveillance footage, they pinpointed Jason's most likely path. "Deploy undercover officers at bus stations, train terminals, and convenience stores," Graves ordered. "He'll need food, shelter, and a way out of the city." It was a game of chess, and Jason was running out of moves. A final gamble. Jason had reached the edge of the city, near an old industrial district. He had a choice: hide and wait for the chaos to die down or try to make a run for the border. But then, flashing blue and red lights appeared in the distance. They had found him. Jason took off running, weaving through warehouses and alleyways. A police helicopter roared overhead, its spotlight slicing through the darkness. A voice boomed through a loudspeaker. "Jason Carter. Surrender now." But Jason wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. He sprinted towards the docks, hoping to find a boat or a container to hide in. But the moment he turned the corner, he came face to face with a line of officers, weapons drawn. Chief Inspector Graves stepped forward. "It's over, Jason." Jason's chest heaved. He glanced around, calculating his odds. But deep down, he knew. Slowly, he raised his hands. The chase was over.